Well, boys, today's tomorrow, and damn, it ain't even been a month yet before this game came out. They didn't even hit season 1. And they already took Concord off the shops, alright? They taking them off the shelves. This guy bought Concord as a joke, was gonna try to return it to GameStop, and they were like, I got some bad news for you, brother. We don't take that back. That's permanent, alright? That's a collector's item. You should keep that in your little collection, alright? Put that on the shelf. You're gonna have to frame that one. Because buying Concord as a joke, thinking, oh no, I'll just return it, that is a permanent mistake, buying a physical copy of it. But you know what? If you bought the game, alright, as a digital version on Steam, Epic Games, which, let's all be honest here, if you bought it on Epic Games, you already deserve to have your shit taken away. Who the hell would buy it on Epic Games? Or PlayStation? You're gonna get your money back. Which, actually, I'm gonna just say here, pretty cool about the developers. Usually, even if they sell one copy, they're like, hey, this is my money. Back up, back up, back up. We legally get to keep this money. But I guess Firewalk Studios thought, you know what, maybe we might get a second chance by Sony to make another game. This studio is dead. All right, boys, go ahead. They're all fired. I don't even want to hear anything like, maybe they'll be able to make... No. There's no way you lose between $100 and $400 million and you just keep making games. There's no way. You gotta switch careers after this. Like, you can't be in the same career. You cannot have, I worked on Concord, as your resume. You would get laughed out of the meeting so hard. You worked on a game that didn't even last a month, not even make it to its first season. At first I was like, you know what, boys, Concord right now, it's down. But you know what? Siege was down when it first came out. Siege was a flop when it first came out. But you know what they did? They kept working on it. They kept supporting it. The game is one of the biggest games in the world right now. One of the biggest live services in the world right now. And I was like, hey man, Concord could turn the ship around if they just keep working on it and they actually listen to their, players and their community. They could turn the ship around. But I guess the CEO of Fireworks Studios, or actually Sony, let's all be honest here, Sony was like, yo, pack your shit. We gave you a chance. Bro, they were like, come on, it's only been a few weeks. Come on, let's get season. Nope. Nah, you don't get another chance. Leave! Leave! You know that studio is a ghost town. No one's in that studio. It's already up for sale probably somewhere. This is the biggest flop in gaming history. The game wasn't even out for more than a month before they decided we're shutting down the servers Saturday. They are shutting down the servers and taking the game off of all platforms. Saturday, just think of that. We just learned about this information yesterday. Yesterday, we just learned that they're taking the game offline. Saturday. That is how much of a flop this game is. And the sad part about this is, the game wasn't even that terrible, alright? If you actually played the game, you would be like, it's a live service game. You played Overwatch, you play this. That's not a bad thing. Having Overwatch clone on your resume isn't a bad thing until you see it says Concord. Any and everyone that worked on this game now has a do not work with stamp on their back, alright? I feel bad for them, alright? I feel super bad for them. Hopefully they're able to get new jobs. Supporting studios, alright? They're not in any lead role, alright? Please don't let any of these people in any lead role. They're good at drawing things. Just tell them, draw what I want you to draw. Don't draw what you think is good. Alright, I have a vision. Your vision is not needed here. You and your vision had a chance, alright? And y'all blew it. Your studio decided to shut down the game not even a month before release. You gonna have a long time before you even get to think about making your own game here, boy, alright? If you want to make your own game, leave. Make an indie studio, alright? We don't need any of Concord's people out there scurrying around and messing up any more projects, alright? Because this is a colossal failure at a magnitude we haven't seen all that often in the gaming industry. I'm like, let's all be honest here. They already said that they have so much content that was already in the vault, ready for release. Like, boys, what's gonna happen to all those cinematics that they made? Not only cinematics, they animated them, face captured them, which is already expensive, right? Mocapping is super expensive. On top of that, they have like some really great animation work, which probably costs at least tens of millions of dollars. So let's all be honest here. What happens to that? Like, what happens to all that work that they just worked on that they didn't even put out because the game is dead now? Also, Sony has at least one more live service game coming out, right? Because they had Naughty Dog working on, the multiplayer version of The Last of Us that they scrapped, even though all they had to do was just remaster the multiplayer from The Last of Us PS3 version. That was already an amazing game, but for some reason, I guess the scope got way too big and they decided just to scrap the whole game. So technically right now, Sony has 2 strikes out of 4 because they have one more live service game in the pipeline that we know of, and that's Fair Game. And Helldivers 2 did great, even though right now it's mostly negative. That's because the devs are trying their best to murder their own game, alright? I don't know what Arrowhead is doing, but they are trying their best to murder Helldivers 2. They don't want to work on that game anymore, it feels like, because they just keep nerfing everything, and everyone is like, you know what? I'll just find another game to play. And now the player numbers are dropping because they don't know how to be like, yo, this is a PvE game. Maybe the players want to feel powerful in their game that they bought. I don't know what's going on over there at Arrowhead. They're trying their best to be 3 strikes. But, boys, Fair Game is supposed to be some bank robbing simulator game. I don't know. I'm assuming it's supposed to be adjacent to Payday, which Payday 3 right now is also in the tank. So if Fair Game comes out to be even half of what Payday 2 was, it could be a success. But, boys, we really have to hope, pray even that Fair Game is a decent game. Because at the end of the day, if it's not, I don't know if Sony will ever try to make a multiplayer component for any of their games ever again. And I get it. There's people out there like, I only play the single player games on Sony games. I'm like, I get that. You only like the single player games. Cool. But I'm like, they do have PlayStation Plus services, and it makes no sense for anyone to actually have PlayStation Plus if they have a PC and a PlayStation. Just play the games on the PC if they aren't a PlayStation exclusive. And I'm sure that they want to get their PlayStation subscription numbers up, but you can't if all people do is play single player games on your console. But boys, I'm assuming Sony has already pivoted back to single player games, especially with this massive flop. They're not going to be touching any multiplayer game, let alone another live service, probably for a long time. And that's pretty sad because I would say PlayStation 5 has one of the coolest features of any console right now, which is the DualShock, the DualShock 80 controller, because the haptic triggers and the adaptive triggers are cool, but almost none of their games use it. Like, literally, only a handful of their games use it. And I'm just sitting here like, why don't you just, make all your studios forced to use the adaptive triggers? I don't understand why they don't do that. That's the whole reason why you would want a PlayStation at this point, because most of the time, if you wait 6 months to a year, the PlayStation games come to PC. So I'm sure if you have a little bit of patience, you can wait for a sale and get the better version of the game, because guess what? If you guys don't know, PlayStation games run pretty great on PC, and plus you also get better frame caps, you also get better resolution. I mean, like, you get everything better on PC. But I understand if you want to play on the PlayStation because it comes out early on the PlayStation and it's an exclusive, then I understand that. But I would say the main selling part of the PlayStation 5 right now is the controller. And yet they are not using the controller. Why are they not using the controller at all? Like I said this so many times, they need to use the controller more. They made a amazing controller, and they refuse to use it in any of their games. Like, it's like the most niche gimmick in most of their games, and for the most part, a lot of their games are just like, oh, we could use the adaptive triggers here, or we could just, skip that time in development, push out the game, and, no one will really complain, which is true, but also, like, I don't understand the reason for them making this cool controller at this point. What was the point of the R&D? You wasted money on a controller people barely use. I'm like, if they actually force their developers to use the adaptive triggers more, I'm pretty sure it will be as great. I'm pretty sure people will speak about it more and rave about it more, as much as people talk about 20v1s. Oh my god. 20v1s are a plague on YouTube right now, boys. Click this video right here to figure out why YouTube should probably get rid of these. Alright, these are not very good for the platform. They're becoming very, very bad. But boys, other than that, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you all tomorrow.